California is much higher, as high as 25%. In other places like Wisconsin, it's less than 1%. So it really depends on where you live. But I think the main driver of this is that an electric car adds a complexity to your daily life that I think most people are trying to eliminate. They're not trying to make their lives more complicated, they're trying to make things more simple.
Do EVs live up to the hype, or do new owners encounter more difficulties than they bargained for? Owning an electric car reveals hidden challenges that cast doubt on the feasibility of green transportation. In fact, what's really behind the growing pains of electric vehicle ownership? For electric cars, the past few weeks have been difficult as auto executives have reported that demand has fallen short of projections. Excessive curiosity has been generated by headlines such as "Auto execs are coming clean," "EVs aren't working," range anxiety is cited by some, high EV costs are blamed by others, and EV doubters feel justified. But experienced market researcher Lauren McDonald provides a very different take on EV and EV charging prospects. Should electric vehicles have a voice? They may potentially mimic the well-known statement made by Mark Twain. Reports of my death have been greatly overblown. McDonald stresses that there are much more complex problems facing the EV business than just a decline in demand. The details, which EVs are in demand, where they are, and when, are what really matter. First off, there is much more to the EV market challenges than just the classic that demand isn't as strong as automakers anticipated. Demand for what, where, and when should be the key question. It is inaccurate to refer to the EV market as a national one. State or regional markets would be more accurate. When it comes to electric vehicles, North Dakota and California don't even exist in the same universe. 25% of new automobile sales in California, the state with the fourth largest economy in the world, are zero-emission state. That is significantly more than the 16% that McDonald predicted would push EVs over the chasm, a phrase that was used by Jeffrey Moore to characterize the leap of faith that new technology needs to take in order to become widely adopted. Thus, the EV market has succeeded in California. North Dakota, meanwhile, hasn't yet reached 1%. Next, a lot of talk is being made about certain models that are not selling as quickly as automakers had anticipated, while sales of other models remain strong. Competition intensifies as the auto industry generates an increasing number of vehicles. Some fare better than others. The reasonably priced EV, the Chevrolet Bolt, set a record in the first quarter and is expected to rank third in sales this year. Actually, according to McDonald's, sales of most EV models increased. 31 witnessed an increase, while sales of 12 saw a decrease. Finally, it's critical to take into account EVs within the larger framework of corporate operations. Sales of Genesis's 3 battery electric cars fell 7.6% in October. However, the fall in sales of its internal combustion engine vehicles was nearly twice as great. The bad news mostly centers on Ford and General Motors, who declared they would reduce their EV manufacturing, citing financial losses and lower than anticipated demand. Actually, as per McDonald, their total electric vehicle sales increased by 22.9% in Q3 2023 as compared to Q3 2022. These numbers cast doubt on the claim that EV demand is waning. What then led automakers delaying their intentions to produce electric vehicles? Insufficient preparation. Waiting lists for EVs were caused by supply chain shortages during the pandemic. After production scaled back up, automakers set their targets, assuming that demand would stay the same. However, the goals were set too high because a lot of individuals chose to buy other things instead of waiting around, like the available Teslas. Demand is high. The automakers made mistakes. It was an overproduction of EVs, according to McDonald, but maybe we should give them a pass. He pointed out that despite their decades of experience predicting the demand for ICE vehicles, automakers still find it difficult to comprehend the patterns of this more recent technology. Even so, auto leaders ought to use caution when speaking about the market. The US's extreme political divide has made EVs a victim. Any indication of poor market quality is likely to be taken advantage of. As you may be aware, starting in 2030, the government seeks to ban the sale of new gasoline and diesel vehicles. Although the goal of this project is to lower emissions, it only considers the exhaust from moving cars. Of course, having zero exhaust emissions from an electric automobile is a big plus, especially when it comes to bettering the quality of the air in urban areas. However, if we look at things more broadly and consider the car's whole lifespan, the picture is very different. Volvo revealed startling statistics before the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow in 2021. The greenhouse gas emissions produced during the manufacture of an electric automobile are over 70% more than those of a gasoline-powered vehicle. Why is it this way? It should come as no surprise that discovering something better is taking a lot of work. There is work on to produce new solid-state batteries that could weigh roughly 1/3 less than existing ones and charge more quickly. These developments won't be readily available for years. Thus, millions of overweight electric cars with quickly degrading batteries will still be made. While there has been a slow pace in developing a completely green method of generating hydrogen, the fuel is starting to gain interest as an alternative. One of two uses for hydrogen is to power a hydrogen fuel cell, which is simply a kind kind of battery, or it can be used as fuel for a novel type of piston engine. Toyota has made significant investments in hydrogen fuel cell technology, which allows cars to be refueled as rapidly as with gasoline and weighs half as much as a comparable lithium-ion battery. Because of their weight, lithium-ion batteries are not the best choice for big trucks. Hydrogen infusion into an unusual type of piston engine provides an option. JCB, a company well known for its yellow diggers, has advanced significantly in the development of hydrogen engines and plans to begin production in the coming years. Hydrogen may gain popularity and accessibility for vehicles if it is the fuel of choice for trucks and is readily accessible at filling stations. Our vacation with electric cars seems to be over, and that's a good thing, I feel like. We're coming to understand that in order to adequately address the significant environmental issues brought on by our usage of motor vehicles, a wider range of choices need to be investigated. Older cars still have a lot to offer, therefore we should keep working on producing hydrogen and synthetic fuels, instead of throwing them out. In addition, we ought to advocate for an alternative business strategy for the auto industry, one in which we recognize the underappreciated lifespan of modern cars and extend the time we own them. Is the decline of EV prices making it a better time for consumers to buy EVs? As a car enthusiast, friends with environmental concerns frequently ask me if they ought to get an electric vehicle. That's why they ought to think about changing if they frequently travel through city centers while operating an outdated diesel vehicle. Stand calm for the time being if not. One day, electric propulsion will truly help the environment on a worldwide scale, but that time is still far off. In the future, that seems like a terrible error. Musk's grand strategy, which called for creating luxury cars first and using the money made to produce mass-market cars at a lower cost, depended on the price of EVs dropping quickly. History has validated that bet. According to CEO Stephen Scher, official prices for Model 3s have dropped by around a third since Hertz made the initial agreement during an earnings call in October. Purchasing from a man whose fortune was derived from accelerating EV depreciation at full price seems like an extraordinarily poor business move. Regular customers may benefit from Hertz's error. Even though the typical car loses around half of its value in the first 3 years, customers are nevertheless drawn in. Many people only consider the initial cost of EVs, ignoring the long-term benefits. EV supporters have long been irritated by this since individuals frequently overlook the additional fuel and maintenance costs they could avoid by switching to electricity. The electric car business, as well as individuals who couldn't previously afford a battery vehicle, will gain from the approaching price parity between EVs and gasoline-powered vehicles. Hertz and other rental companies benefit from this change as well. The market may experience overstock and discounts in the near future as EV consumer demand peaks and production ramps up. Although there was a lot of demand for EVs at the time of Hertz's first Tesla offer, sales may improve over the next 12 months. This might be the ideal time for private car owners and rental agencies to buy an EV. The situation is probably going to get better, notwithstanding the difficulties and annoyances that new EV owners are currently facing, such as rapid depreciation and expensive initial charges. These problems should go away as EV prices continue to decline and technology advances, making EVs a more appealing and sensible option in the near future. So, when the time comes, would you people be prepared to make the switch? Please feel free to comment below. Please subscribe, like, and share for more insights. Till then, bye.